And hello, let me get this music. Hey everyone, I'm Tamara Caulder Richardson, and welcome to Seeking Heaven, the Near Death Experience, and Other Phenomena. I'm so excited to see everyone. I haven't been live in a while, and I am back from the Arizona, my big Arizona 2-week trip, which I desperately needed. I needed a change. And as you can see, this is an actual photograph that was taken there. Isn't it beautiful? I think this is Cathedral Rock. So thank you for being here. And whoops, I turned on my music again. So make sure that if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And hey everybody and the this watching live. I can't respond right yet, but good to see everybody, Adrienne and Clay. So as far as subscribe, click that little bell, because that way you get all the episodes. And I'm going to have some really cool stuff. I have fantastic guests. I really research and screen people to make sure that I get good quality people for you. And you're going to be so thrilled. I mean, it was a phenomenal trip to the Sedona Ascension Retreat. So I'm going to go over the highlights today. I've got images. I worked really hard a couple weeks. That's why you haven't heard from me. I have these photographs. I had to bring them in, I had to work on them in Photoshop. I had to color correct them, size them, prepare them together, and present this beautiful thing today so you could see. I even have video clips of my hike with Michael Jaco. How cool, right? And some cool stuff happened that was very otherworldly galaxy during that hike to Thunder Mountain. So you'll see that clips of that. So anyway, just make comments, especially during this live broadcast. That would be terrific. And also wanted to mention to you, please, I'm going to be offering a lot more. That's why I'm trying to work with my schedule to kind of, still offer things to you and so forth, but not be so busy with YouTube, because I honestly, I have to actually spend money between all my technical stuff. I really don't make anything on YouTube, but I connect with people like you, and then they connect with me. I get readings. I have, my Ascension School, and that's what I wanted to mention. If you want to book a reading session with me, I am a professionally trained evidential medium. I had 6 near-death experiences, so I was spirit. So I'm very detailed. I do life path and Akashic readings, and I trained 8 years in the British style with very famous mediums. You can read my bio, but as well as that, I also have an Ascension School, and I'm going to be having some really cool classes. Sign up. That's the only really way you're going to know. You'll get a free Christ-like meditation, but sign up for my newsletter and you can see what's going on. And I don't have a lot of traffic, so you're not going to get a lot of stuff. I send out maybe emails on my school, a couple times a month. So you're not going to get a lot, but you will be in the loop of what's going on. I am going to be doing some things on angelology and also angelification. So how do you get as a human to as a human? And that's why I love William Henry so much, which I met. I want to talk about that. It was like so exciting. He probably thought I was a nut because I was such a fan. But I was channeled this information because I'm a celestial hybrid. Who knew? So it just comes easy. So I'm going to tell you some really cool stuff that's been channeled to me. So sign up for the school, because I'm going to have some really neat things. I'm doing this just for you, okay? Because I get to know you and what you like and what you need. And again, there's so many teachers besides just me and they have specialties. And so I want to connect you and hook you up, that you can be involved with my soul community. And also check out my designs and so forth, my Galactic designs and the Office of Christ t-shirts. They're really cool. So I want to go ahead and start with this. So, okay. So I went to the Sedona Ascension Retreat with Clay, and you can see here. Let me pull this up. That's my husband. Doesn't he look cool? I got him that leather jacket for Valentine's. And of course, that's me and William Henry. I was so thrilled. And me and Michael Jaco on our hiking trip. And everywhere you go, you see stones. So there's stones. And me and Matt Kahn, which I saw every morning at the breakfast place. And I'm going to go ahead and show you. Clay and I, this was a vacation too, right? So we had to fly in from Charlotte, North Carolina. So it's a long way. It's like a 4.5-hour trip. And then by the time you got to get a rental car, and then you got to drive from Sedona 2 hours. From Phoenix 2 hours into Sedona. It's like a day to get there, and then you finally get to your room. So we were staying where it's very small there. y'all. It's very small. Sedona is kind of like, I don't know, one big long street. I mean, it may be, there's streets that come off the side of it, but because you're surrounded by the canyons, they kind of you're in the middle of the canyons. So the reception was really bad. And that is why I did not live stream. I said I was going to, and I do hold my promises to you. Ethics is very important to me, but I couldn't. Okay. So you're going to see starting tomorrow. Some of it I have more, some of it I have less, but clips of speakers that are master teachers in certain areas. I did not monetize these because it's not my information. I'm just doing this as a public service to you. I didn't even put my information. I put every speaker's information. That way, if you want to connect with them, because they have specialties like Billy Carson, Marine Saint Germain, and you can connect with them directly because it's all part of the starseed community. We're all family. I'm cool with that. I'm really good at what I do as evidential mediumship. I'm extremely good and channeling, but I don't do everything. You know what I mean? I have my niche. And so they're good at other stuff. She's very good at sacred geometry. I'm going to have her in the channel if she will grace us with her presence. I did meet her. She was very lovely. She gave me a book and a CD, which was very nice, and I appreciate it. So let me show you where we stayed. We stayed at this place called the Marriott. I don't know if you can. It was the Marriott Courtyard. Expensive, y'all have no idea. It was about 3-4 times more than it usually is in most parts of the U.S. And it was tiny, but that's where we had to stay because it was about a half a mile from the conference area. But you can see it's pretty, and this rocks with the fence. You're like, what's that all about? That is out our if you want to call it a balcony, it's sort of a tiny balcony, but that's what it looked like. So you can see canyons in the back. We're literally surrounded by canyons. And then also Red Rock State Park, that is right where we are. So the conference was at the Sedona High School. It's weird because now Cryon, Lee Carroll, is having a conference at the same place. It's a popular place, but they have a performing arts center there. So that's where they had it. So this is the first day. You probably can't read all this, but you can see kind of the schedule, and then you kind of pick and choose who you'd like to see. And it was small, and you had small breakout rooms, but it was intimate. And so, I like small because you definitely got to meet everybody. And so I was a VIP. I paid for that, and I went to the VIP breakfast. And that's my good friend Joan of Angels, Dr. Joan Handgarter, right there. And then there's Dr. who has her arms out. And her presentation on angels and fluffing your wings and her art. It was really fun. And she's just has a lot of energy. Her artwork is beautiful. And then we have over to the other side, we have JJ Hurdick, Dr. JJ Hurdick, and his wife Desiree. You'll see more of them. And one of the big reasons I wanted to go, I wanted to get his book on Amazon. It's like $600. There it was like $56. And it was called The Keys of Enoch. And then he has different keys that are coming. I said, he's a direct channel from God. He's a rabbi, and he's extremely well known. It was fascinating. I'm still learning about him. I bought like everything I could buy from him. And then we've got Alan's near the air conditioning unit is Alan Steinfeld, who is a ufologist as well as a remote viewer and other things. He's an extremely well-known speaker, very charismatic and very fascinating. And you'll hear more about him later. And then there's Bill Olson and his editor, lady friend, standing beside him, very sweet. And then down below, you can see there's Marine Saint Germain. So I sat with Debbie Solaris. She came in, and we're both, I think she's like 5 foot and I'm 5'2". So we're like little munchkins, and we sat together. And then they encouraged her to go up and say something. So she went up and talked about what she would be talking about. It was a small little room, and they had breakfast in there, but that just sort of kicked it off. And Clay was in there just literally right next door having breakfast beside me, but I was just in this little room. It was just a little get together networking. And then William Henry came in late, and I was like, William Henry, because I love his work. So I'll tell you more about that later. It's really cool. All right, so here we go. So this was the first, was this the first track? Let me make sure I get this right. No, this is the first track. This is Alan Steinfeld. I went to his remote viewing class. Okay. Now you have a treat. I did get some of the clip again to play you. I'm not monetizing. I'm just putting it for Alan and ways you can get in touch with him. You can take his class. I'm just doing it as a promotion to him. Again, I wish I could have live streamed it, but I couldn't. Anyhow, he's just a wealth of information and a huge personality. But he gave me a signed copy of the book, Making Contact. God bless him. That was so exciting, and got to meet him. And I met him. We're standing there. You can see a character. I think he lives in the New York area on the East Coast, but he taught this remote viewing class. We're standing there. This was later. We were at a dinner thing, but this is the remote viewing class. You can see I took pictures of some of the students, and then there's Dr. J.J. Hurdick, who's in there because he did write a portion in this Making Contact. He did contribute a little bit to that, and the remote viewing class was really interesting. We would pick a target. And you'll see it because I have that for you. So you actually get to do the exercises, a part of it, just so you can see it. And if you want to do more, you can sign up for his class. That's why I want to make this all available to you, because some people can't afford to go to the Ascension Conference. Honestly, Clay and I have been wanting to go for years to Sedona. It's very expensive, y'all. I mean, like, I was shocked, very. And so it just is, I guess, because you have finite real estate, right? And so, but it was phenomenal. So this was a trip we've been wanting to go to for a long time. And I know a lot of you have seen it, and the beauty is amazing. So I want to go through and tell you some of the things. So the remote viewing, you'll see, I don't want to give it away, but you pick the target. It's different. He'll explain. I did get a clip so you can kind of see how that works. But that was interesting. It's not like anything like psychic stuff. It's not like anything like mediumship. It's a different thing altogether. It's a different spiritual technology. I will say that. So if you're intuitive, that can kind of get in the way, because you have to get it. You have to wipe your brain, and it has to do with just recording information as it comes in, and not filtering it through our brains. So it's just a really different feel. I got close to one that I kept seeing lights, but it was a flame. That was the target, and I kept seeing lights, so that was close. That was tough. So, but you can get better at this. So anyway, the next one was Debbie Solaris. And she did a thing. I thought it was really great. I have the clips of her on that. And I know that she's offering courses right now on the galactic history and understanding that in your path here. So, you can check her out. But she's a friend. I think she's very gifted. She's very sweet as well. And on this slide I have here, so I said, see this talk. So you got to subscribe to know when these things start popping out. Again, I'm doing this as a public service, so you can connect with what they're doing, because everybody's got their specialty, right? She's a galactic historian. So I get things in reading. I get galactic Akashic information and readings, but I would not say I'm a galactic historian. That's not my, that's her deal. Or Ismail Perez, or different people, or Craig Campobasso, who you can take his classes on the galactic races series, the whole series of galactic races, and the history. When I switch to history, just the races, on my Ascension School Academy at divinewisdom.com. But anyway, she talked about the health issues of various star races, and that was fascinating. And she would go through. She went from most of us came from Lyra. Okay, it goes way back. So Lyra, which early Lemuria, but Lyrans. And then and most of us kind of came from that. And then it breaks off into Cirrus, and then it breaks off into Arcturians. And so I felt like I had the issues, health issues, because we have to adjust here. Our bodies on this planet would be more Cirrus. And so was my husband's. Even the dietary things that we eat, like I have to have some protein. I just do. Some people can go all vegetarian. I can't do it. I'm basically a mermaid. I have to have fish. And so that, and she goes through certain exercises that certain races have. It was really good. And so check out her website. It's phenomenal. It really is. She goes into the different galactic history of our planet. And she had an awakening and been on a starship just like I did. Although what I'm getting, she's getting galactic history. I'm getting downloads of what's going on now in science and so forth. So again, we're all connected, right? So that's why we need to work together. So the next thing, just want to make sure I'm still here. Is we these are just people that I saw. I wanted to show you again. Joan of Angels. She is the executive director of Portal to Ascension, who works with Neil Gar. Both so capable and incredible, interesting people. And Joan is so much fun. And that was when I had Joan of Angels on my channel. And in between us recording, because we weren't live, we were recording, I said, "You're an artist. Why are you not doing your art? Your art is activation." And she goes, "Well, I was told I wasn't supposed to be an artist. I put it on hold." Well, since that time, I'm so excited. I mean, her art, she's just come out. It was phenomenal. She had, look, you can see some of the art here. And she can do art portraits for you too. So it was beautiful. She had a birthday party. We both had birthdays there. And so we ate at this little, I don't know, sort of like a little pizza place. There was a bunch of people there. I don't know, about 25 people. And it was just, just a casual thing. We got together. And then you can see Neil down below beside her. We're talking to someone. And then there we are again at the top corner. And there's Cherie. She'll probably be on the channel. She does light codes. And then Victoria, we're all angel hybrids. And Victoria, I adore her. I would love to have her on the show. I've got to contact her. And again, part of the network, right? We're all starseeds. We're all elected to be here now. We chose to be here now. Okay. And so we all have a different purpose, but the main purpose is what Jesus said, be the love that you were created to be. And how we manifest that and help people is all different, right? So then, ta-da. Okay, William Henry. Love William Henry. So William Henry has a Ascension Keepers on Gaia TV. If you don't have Gaia TV, get Gaia TV. Gaia TV is phenomenal for starseeds and people that are really awakening to their ascension, spiritual progress. It's phenomenal. Okay. And you can just pick what indicates, but he had, it was very deep. I mean, his stuff is very deep, but it feels like really truth. So you can see his books, Judgment Day and The Watchers. I actually just bought them on Kindle to read them. He didn't have books for sale. Otherwise I would have bought them. And I'm not, saying anything bad about that, because that's probably a lot to bring books. So, but you can see here, he's talking about Christ ascension. And I'll just tell you, he talked about, and you'll have clips of that. You'll have things of that. I mean, it's phenomenal. And also check out the Gaia TV, but he talked about, he showed different medieval images of art paintings and the ascension, about Christ ascending. And then it showed it in these medieval paintings. It looked like a portal. I mean, and he showed many. And then he also talked about Christ in different cultures, different religions, and about his return and how he might return in a portal. I mean, these are Tamara's words, so you'll have to, I'm not doing him justice, but pretty much so like that. And he also talked about purification as a human, to be more angel-like, what that means, and so forth, which that's more in his Gaia talks. But he did talk a lot about Christ and transfiguration, and as humans, how we plan to transfigure, and especially upon the return. Again, it's heavy stuff, right? But it's interesting. So it makes you really think. So he is also going to be on. See clips of him, and I'd love to get him on, but I want to make sure I'm a better student of his and thoroughly go back and read all his books before I have him on. So I do my homework for you all. So let me see who's next that I want to talk about. I think it's Michael Jacob. Let me make sure. Nope, no more friends. Hold on. Give me a second. Okay. So this is Matt Kahn. He's a channeler like me. It was so awesome. He channels just like me, ascended masters. He's like me. He'll just sit down and he'll just do it like I do. And it was so great to meet him. And he channeled Jesus a couple times, not at depth, but a little bit. But they're all in that love vibration heaven realm. And then in the middle here, you can see. Now I didn't catch the girl's name that was here, but this is another angel posse. We're angel hybrids. Here's Peter Benson, and I bought his necklace and the angel guards around the ankles. And that grounds you, and it's also protection. It's very powerful. And he was channeled that information of how to create that. And then so Peter is the green shirt. that creates the jewelry, Peter Benson, and you can look him up if you want any of his sacred created angel jewelry. And Peter Tiba, who is an internist who was beside me, I looked at him at the Joan had a dinner, and we were talking about the pizza dinner or whatever, the like that, and he was beside me, and Clay said, you got to meet him. And I looked at him, I said, you're a healer. I said, wait a minute, you're an angel like me. And he started laughing. He goes, how do you know that? And I was like, I don't know. And then down below, here's Victoria. You can see she's holding her heart. And I just met her it was in the hall. It's kind of like a donut shape. They had like the stairs in the middle, and it was just, you could go around, and they had exhibitors where you could buy, they had different spiritual services and books for sale. And then they had, spiritual jewelry and that kind of thing. Anyway, she was walking around. She was helping with the Ascension team with Suzanne Ross, who put this event on, who did a really good job. And I didn't realize I had been getting her emails, but I looked at her and I went, Angel, and I started speaking Enochian to her, and she spoke it back. And we did that for a while. We totally understood everything we said. It was so cool. And then this is my world, y'all. And then above, this is Katrina, and she lives, I think, in the Sedona area. She was a trip. We have the same jacket. I said, you're wearing my jacket. You'll see another picture. I have the same jacket on. And then there is Cherie, who does light codes, who I bought some essential oil from. So, it was just a little love fest. Overall, people were really nice. Some more friendly than others, but it was a nice, intimate group. It really was. It was good to meet people and kind of feel for their energy. So let's talk about the Michael Jaco Divine Light Codes. Hey, Moon and Stars. Hey, y'all. Okay, great. A lot of people in the chat sending you love. We're all a big starseed family, right? We're here now. It's the big football cosmic game. Right? And so, hey, I'm excited. We're all helping each other in this path. Is that time? So I want to talk about the Michael Jaco hike. So it was part of my VIP package. I got to pick, whatever to go on this hike, right? A spiritual hike. And we got in a little bus, in front of the Performing Arts Center. And then we drove to Thunder Mountain. It wasn't that far. I mean, I don't know, 20 minutes. I don't know, but it wasn't that far. But we drove to Thunder Mountain. So when we get there, I'm going to show you slides of what happened. Let me see if I can get it. Okay. And I've got clips too. It's so exciting. I got clips for you. So what we do is we get there, and these are just some of the clips you can see. And some of the, photos, and then I'm going to show you some clips. So you can see it's a very sacred area. Walking up to it, people were praying. There was Buddha statues. So it's kind of like a walking prayer. You just kind of walk around, and it is a positive portal. It has male and female energy, and it's very strong. He thinks it's the strongest, although we'll get into that later. And I do part 2 next week, because it's amazing things that I'm going to show you. After the Ascension Retreat, Clay and I went to Bell Rock and did other things, and I'll show you that. It's also a positive portal. But here's the medicine wheel. People were walking around, and this is where we finally stayed and he brought out singing bowls, and we did a meditation, and then we all got really like high and went inside the mountain. Astrally. No, I'm serious. We did. And so this next segment here is, yes, I'm kissing a sage tree. I don't know why I wanted to do that, but it felt really right at the time. Lately, I've really been wanting to hug trees a lot. I mean, there's specific ones I just want to hug. Maybe it needs a hug. So I wanted to kiss the tree, and the women that were sitting around me started laughing. I'm like, I don't care. And so that's me. They said, we'll take a picture. And I just put my arms out, and I said, thank you, God, for this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful canyon. And I was just so grateful to be there. It's just so magical. Now, I have this picture of Michael Jaco. Michael Jaco has a book called The Intuitive Warrior. We did get that signed and bought that. We didn't get a picture with him. He was busy. I did get a picture with him on this. It's not like I didn't talk to him, but he did talk later a little bit about his journey and using a love vibration, which he had these little love vibration bracelets that he kind of gave out, rubber bands kind of things, and talked about in war and so forth about sending that meditative love and having the intention of things being well. Before he would get there, things would just dissolve. He wouldn't even have to take anyone out, militarily wise. And so, and which is amazing. He's changed from that, let's kill people to let's send love and diffuse the situation. Something we might need to do, right? So you can see a couple here, and they got a Buddha statue, and it looks like the two dogs are in on the action here too. Bring the whole family. But you can see what it looks like. It's very sacred everywhere you go. Now, what I want to do before we move into the next bit is I want to show you some clips, and then I'm going to tell you a really cool thing that happened. All right, so let me just show you. This is me.
After the guy before was over.
And this is us just starting out, but it's bumpy. You have to look where you're walking. And you can just kind of see what it looks like. I'm like, yay. I'm like, hey. And so it's cold, it's hot, it's cold. It'll be anywhere from 30 to 80 degrees. So you have to bring layers. All right. So here I am again. So you can just really quick. And I'm in front of that big obelisk kind of Buddha statue. I'm not really sure. If you know what it is, write it in the chat what that was. I apologize. I don't. I know what the Buddha statue is, but everything just felt so good. And I'm like, yeah, it feels good. Yeah. I'm like digging it. So I'm like, oh God, I didn't know I did all this. I didn't see the whole clip. Well, anyway, I'm kind of getting into it. So, all right. So what we did is before we started, Michael Jaco gives us a little talk. Okay. And he tells us what to expect. And he gives us a couple stories about what happened to him on the mountain, how powerful it is. Now, these are activation centers. What does that mean? Well, the whole mountain, you can't see it. The whole canyon, every canyon out there are crystalline grids. That's what form the canyon. So there's crystalline, which means they're activation centers. Okay, number one. Number two, they're UFO frequented hubs. Okay. So there's a lot of activity. And another thing in Sedona at night, they don't have streetlights on. They don't have any of that. So it's dark. So we were like rushing when we, finally did the rental, which I'll show you next week. It was a beautiful place. It was small, but it was beautiful. We rushed to the grocery store to get food and come back because when it gets dark, we don't really know our way around too much. So but that's just what they do to, I guess there's a lot of UFO people watching, but in this clip of Michael Jaco, he's telling you a couple experiences, and then the audio at the very end kind of gets messed up because you can hear the wind going rushing around. And again, it's weird because it's cold, but you could be getting sunburned at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and play that for you to enjoy.
So I started going up and just talking in the van, sharing with somebody that when I went up there, I went to the right. There's a way to go to the left that I didn't know about at the time. So I'm just looking. I'm like, that area right there. We have to climb up there. I've done lead climber and and stuff like that, so I know how to climb. So it's like, oh, a nice tight little chimney. So I have my feet on one wall, my back on the other. So I'm shimmying up, and I started to notice, this rock is a little chalky. It's starting to crumble. And then it came to me that someone had fallen, a young man had fallen and hit his head and died. And I was like, oh, that's not good. So I started shimmying back down. And I hadn't noticed it when I went up, but there is a cross right there before that thing. So it should have been a warning, but I didn't even see it. You know how that happens. I needed that lesson evidently. So I saw that vision and I come back down and I was like, oh, wow, somebody did die here. And I found out later, it's one of the restaurateurs in town. It was his son, his younger son. He was probably 17 or 18 like that. Had climbed up with some friends and had fallen and had busted his head and unfortunately died. So I'm like, okay, so how am I going to get up? So I'm like looking around. I'm going through, strong brush. I'm getting scratched. I'm like, what is going on? I never get scratched. I go through thick vegetation all the time. And so I'm getting scratched and I'm like, wow, that's really, really weird. So I finally find a way to get up. It's to the left. Kind of clear, kind of a pathway, but not too good, but I finally figured it out. Finally got all the way to the top. It was a full day event. Full day, all day long. So I walked from my home. I lived at the top of Soldier's Pass. So I walked from my home and I had one backpack, little, sippy, camel pack. filled up, and for whatever reason, I thought that would be enough. So I realized as I'm going up, that's not enough. So I'm starting to get dehydrated a little bit. It was a warm day, but that night it got really cold. So I get up to the top, and I was like, oh, this is beautiful, beautiful. I started looking around. It started getting darker, and there's dead brush up there. So I got the dead brush, made myself a little fire, and it started getting really cold. And then I had a little blanket, space blanket that I put over myself, and I kept the fire going all night long. You know, kept feeding it. While I'm up there, beings started to come in and check on me, because I would kind of like doze off, and then I would sense a being looking in on me, and I kind of wake up. You know how you look at something and it goes away. Should use the sides of your eyes, you know, see ghosts and stuff like that. But I did catch a glimpse one time. So the being, and I was like, where are you coming from? Who are you? And it was a being from inside. Right. So there's crystalline structures down under here, under all of Sedona. So we're sitting on a massive crystalline structure here. So that's why it was one of the reasons why the energy is so amazing here. When you leave it, you can feel the difference when you leave it, because that's where the crystalline energy stops. So absolutely amazing. We'll go up here and we'll see the Buddha statue. Just be real quiet, a moving meditation. That's the way I move in the environment. When I hike, I just want to feel the vortexual energies. I want to sense where they are. So this is the strongest vortex energy here in Sedona of all the ones I've been to. I've been to all.
What is the name of it?
It's Thunder Mountain.
Thunder Mountain.
Yeah. So it's a highest peak, so it gets a lot of thunder. And the rainbows around that thing, I've seen double, triple rainbows off of Thunder Mountain. It's just super high, intense energy. All over Sedona, when there's usually rains that come through here, you'll see rainbows. Yeah, you'll see rainbows, double rainbows, triple rainbows. And a lot of times that's if you're holding particular energy, kind of like what I talked about in my talk this morning. You want to hold that particular energy, that love.
Get ready and ask a question right here.
You come up here, this movie meditation, we go up to the stupa, and you walk around it, just be in that vibrational field. Then once we come out of that, I want to take you guys to a spot that I found. I came here a few months ago because I knew I was coming here, and I was like, I want to find the best spot for meditation. And I found a nice little spot. Fortunately, it's dry, because I was like, if this is wet, this won't work. So it's nice and dry. You'll be able to sit down or lay down, whatever you want. And I'll do the singing bowls. And I got some copper that's, I guess, is going to like heighten it.
Does copper heighten it?
Yeah. And it was just given to me by one of the guys that's there.
The pyramid guy?
Yeah, the pyramid guy. Yeah. I worked with him before, and he gave me this.
Yeah.
This is the Archangel Michael protection. And it's also, super.
I think you already have that.
I know.
Even beforehand.
Thank you.
we all saw your auras.
Yeah. And this basically taps into it even more. So there's lots of different things we can do.
Yeah, I have the same necklace.
Is our consciousness, of course.
All handmade.
Totally focus on right now. Super vibrating our consciousness. That's what you're going to get. This stupa is absolutely amazing. Now, I'm not going to speak too much about it, because I don't want to steal anybody's thunder, because they're going to know a lot more than me. But the information you're going to get from this is over the top.
Are you asking us not to speak?
They only come to certain places and put these things.
Okay.
This is
Talking about aliens or
ultra
dimensionals.
Into them, they know energies. There's also some places up in Mount Shasta. So everything has to be of a very high vibration, and this is one of those places.
I have a question.
That's
Obviously,
me.
you're saying this is sacred. Is this a starseed portal too? Is it underneath? Is that what you're saying?
Right. There's lots of portals here.
Okay. Well, I don't mean just here, but
Yeah.
I know there's other ones. But here, what is this known for? You said it's powerful.
So for me, it's basically an energy. So I tap into energies, vortexual energies. They can be portals, but usually what I use them for is for information. Tapping information.
Yes.
What's that?
The ley lines, is that here?
The ley lines are here.
Yeah.
And the vortex
ley lines.
energies. Now, here in Sedona, there's a lot of places that have vortexes. There'll only be a certain type, like male. Or you go to another place, it's female. Here in Sedona, there's male and female, sometimes in the same place.
And this?
So is Bell Rock.
Both?
This is everything.
Okay.
So everything beyond. Yeah.
Okay.
This is like.
Okay. All right. All right. So I'm going to remove that. Sorry, guys. Let me remove that. So it's getting windy. You can hear, but you got an idea that we had to walk in a meditative state up the mountain. And afterwards, we sat down for a second. You can see what happened. We were sitting here. And let's see if it starts. So I don't think this is a very short clip, or is it? It could be a live photo. Yeah, it's just a short clip.
I want to ask permission, so I'm asking permission.
She said, ask permission to be inside that mountain. There's stuff in that mountain.
Experience the crystalline structures inside Thunder Mountain.
And see the lady with the phone there, really nice. Met her.
Deep breaths and then release energy, any kind of negative energy.
He's saying take 3 deep breaths. And then people started laying everywhere. I was to the side laying beside the guy with the ponytail, laying on my coat. Everybody just started sprawling out
You can clench each
on the dirt.
as I called it out. You can do it tight, you can do it softly, or you can just put your attention there and release energy that might be built up there. And then we'll move through the entire body, and then I'm going to have you lift your consciousness above your body. We're going to have a golden ball of light around your body, so it's going to be safe and protected.
Yeah, he's saying put a golden God light around your body.
Ball of light of love energy that I put around us
Yeah,
already.
God love energy.
And of course, this is you're protected here in Sedona. So then you send your energy, your consciousness towards Thunder Mountain, and then do some exploration.
He's saying send your consciousness, your thoughts to inside the mountain.
You guys ready?
And he said that he already asked, he said that if we could come in, and they said yes. So let me tell you the experience that I had, and he validated. I've got like a little tiny 1-minute clip where he validated it. I didn't realize it was caught on camera. But it was. So afterwards, we're sitting there, and this is the cool part. We're sitting there where we come out of the meditation. I mean, it wasn't long, 15, 20 minutes, but it was really strange because I felt everybody around in the mountain with me. They were like whirling around. Some people were just kind of hanging out outside. I'm like, no, I'm going in. So afterwards, he asked people to share, and certain people like Chantel, the one with phone in the middle, she said she saw a Native American. I did too. And so forth. But then it came, people said, a couple things, not a whole lot. They're probably just shy. That's all. But I'm not shy. And so I said, okay, I'll tell you what I saw. I mean, I don't care if it's right or wrong or whatever. I just said it. And so this is what I said. And later he validated that was very accurate. So this is what I saw astrally in the mountain. When first of all, I saw on the outside Native Americans. They looked like Navajo, and they had feathers on one side, half long, their hair half down and up. They had a pants on, but it was like cut out like paper doll, and it was stitched on the side. They had like a tunic, leather tunic that went over their head and then tied in the front. And they were just there was one, and then there were several just kind of hiding around the bushes or the shrubs, if you call it that, vegetation, that were just in kind of appreciation that we were doing the work, and that we were appreciating, Mother Earth, and that they were like, it was very peaceful. So when I go inside, instantly I see this scene of everything. It's a cavern, right? And it's dark, but there's a bioluminescence feature in there with the walls and the water. There's a little stream going through, and there's a kind of a neon look. And then I had a group of very small people that came up to, they weren't people, beings that came up to me. They were maybe 2.5, 3 foot, if that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm short, so I'm 5'2". It might have been 2.5 feet. They were little, okay? And so they had bigger heads. They didn't have the same kind of body we did, but they did have a body. but it was a blue body, bigger head, bigger eyes. They had a lens that went down and then went across. It would go down and across. They said, look at this. We can do, all this was telepathy, mind to mind, that they could see an infrared at night, which that makes sense, right? They're in the dark. They're in a cavern. And so we live here and I could see little holes in there, and that's where they slept. And their teeth, they said they eat the algae on the walls. And they had these long tongues, not like a snake. It was just a long tongue, a long kind of skinny tongue. And they would get the algae off of there. And they had hardly any teeth. There's mainly gums, but like little teeny teeth. So they eat like that if they had to, because it's so fine. So the algae, and they said they eat the plankton too. And they were like the spirit of children. They were just very playful and loving, but I still felt they were the initial guardians of the surface below. And then we went up to a wall, and I feel like they've been there for eons, and they lived much longer than us. And they went to a wall, and I'm looking at the wall like, there's a wall, it's a cave wall. And then all of a sudden it opened up. It was like an illusion. It opened up, and there was a man standing there. It was a man, a human looking person with long blonde hair. I would say about 3 inches or 4 below his shoulders, half pulled back, kind of, half back, half down. And he had on a dark red cape. And it was interesting because he came to me the night before in a dream. And this is what happens when you go to Sedona. And so in the dream, let me back up my dream. The night before, a guy came in my dream and he goes, hi, hi, I'm Rafka. And I said, hi, and I'm like, who are you? And I said, are you a Nordic? Because he looked kind of Palladian or Nordic, or, he didn't say anything. So here's the same guy. And he goes, no, I'm an Argathian. I said, okay. And he says, I am the keeper of the surfaces. So that's the next level. So it was kind of an honor for them to bring me there. And that place looked magical. And so in that place, the water, it has bioluminescence. It had life. Everything just had life. It was very green. The nature felt alive. And I saw a unicorn. Okay. Like the unicorn, which you can buy on the Seeking Heaven channel. Oh yeah. I saw a unicorn. Victoria in the slide earlier, she saw a dragon. It was kind of like Harry Potter land, or like Hansel and Gretel. It was like fairy tale land. And so then he talked to me about the transportation system and about how they have pulleys that go underneath to the lower levels. He said below us are giants, and there are more life that goes further down. They're different like worlds underneath in the earth. And he began to show me that. He said, you're welcome back anytime. And I was very grateful. And then we had to come back from the meditation. And so I shared it, I don't know, didn't really think much about it. So I'm getting ready to get a photograph with him. And Brittany, who's was at the event, she didn't know how to work my phone. So when she covered the camera lens, because I have that new iPhone thing, when she covered the lens, that doesn't close it like a Kindle or an iPad. Okay. That doesn't close it. It was still recording. So we're recording, and all of a sudden you see purple, but it's still recording. That's because she covered my iPhone. You got to actually turn it off. But he said, he's telling me, Michael Jaco, he goes, I was in the secret space program. And he said, what you said was very accurate, and you probably saw a lot more. And I did. And so here's that clip. It's very short. It's like a minute or something, but just want to let you see it. I didn't even know I had that. So wanted you to see it too. Here it is. I really enjoyed the singing bowls. This was special.
Great. You get some great insight.
Okay.
Were they any like you've gotten?
That's right up there.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, was it too
Great.
odd? Okay.
You probably have a lot more that you could share.
That was incredible.
A lot more insights. That was incredible.
That was. I
Really?
was
Okay.
Just a little some more, maybe
really?
more things.
Yeah, and he came through last night. Like they knew they were going to be here. You know how they know? They know we were going to be here.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
We don't go real nice for her.
Yeah, I gotta take turns.
All right, you get the point of that. Anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. So those places are very powerful, and Thunder Mountain was not even one that I had picked to go. So that was well. I mean, I was told in a dream multiple times 6 months ago for 3 months straight from Astor and the Arcturian Syrian Angelic Council to go to Bell Rock. Actually, it started much further back, about a year ago, and I would say Bell Rock, what's that? But I did go there. I'll show you that next week. So we've just got a couple slides, and then we're done. But I thought that was interesting. So these things are powerful. They're activation centers if you do go. So on Saturday, early Saturday evening, I think it was 4 or 5. They had George Noory, Coast to Coast AM. He's been around forever. He's also on Gaia TV. Oh, by the way, Michael Jaco, he is on Cosmic Disclosure. He does. I thought it was really fascinating. He talks about the secret space program, but he does a live regression with Barbara Lamb. But that's cool. You should see that. Okay, back to George Noory. So they had a George Noory Coast to Coast live, and they had his band there. I don't know if you can see it, but they had his full band. He was such a delight, and he even sang for us in between like Frank Sinatra songs. It was so cute. I mean, he is just so loved by so many people. And they had an ascension panel. So this guy here is Dr. Sky, and he brought this telescope that was presented to him, and he gives you space facts and about the universe, and he's just a popular guest. And then they had Billy Carson, and you're going to see that. I have clips of all this, and it's really good. I mean, I didn't know what I could get, but actually it's really good on the George Noory stuff. And then Neil Gar, who's you can see at the bottom in the Ascension panel to the left, I got 3 of his comments he made when George Noory asked him about Ascension. I thought they were phenomenal, his responses. And make sure you check out Portal to Ascension, their website and also their YouTube. The work they do is just for star seeds and to enlighten us what's going on and who's in the know with this soul community. You got to check it out. So the next would be Billy Carson. He was at the George Noory thing, so you're going to see some of that. But he also talked on stage. He talked Sunday. And so that was interesting. And we got to meet him. He was getting ready to pick up a ride, and we just jumped in there and took a picture. And I told him, you can see us laughing. We're laughing with Billy Carson. He was awesome. I just bought his book from that he wrote on the Emerald tablets. He doesn't have Kindle, so you have to buy the book, which is fine. But I didn't see him having them for sale. Maybe he did, but I didn't see it. But he's getting ready to catch his ride, Uber, whatever. And so we kind of just, jump, hey, can we take a picture? And that's my husband. And I said, because he's a very rational person and he really does a lot of research. And so he just has a way of presenting it that just makes sense. I said, you're the only one that really, besides Brad Olson, that really connected with my husband. Like he is actually really interested in your work now. And he thought that was funny. So we all started laughing. And which was great. Half the people there were men, and these were just regular guys. And so these weren't like very spiritual or had a turban. These were just regular guys. And then they had and then they had just women, all kinds of people, all kinds of guys. But what I'm saying, they just had regular. That was very, I think, encouraging to me to see just and even the guys mentioned it, said, wow, look how many guys are here. It was at least half. And they were into it. And there was a guy sitting behind me at George Noory. And I said, can you take a picture? The one I took, the picture of me and Clay right here. He was from South Carolina. And I said, oh, I was talking about a restaurant I ate at, and it was his restaurant. It was small world, y'all. Anyway, let me see. Billy Carson. Okay, so the Hurdocks. On Sunday, Dr. JJ and Desiree Hurdock did a talk on sacred knowledge. And then they also showed you chanting and how to open kind of the gates of heaven. These are some of his books. Look at me. I'm like, man, you would not believe I bought so much money. I bought over $500 in his books because, like I said, one of his books, Keys of Enoch, is like $600 something online. That was $56. The keys come out. They're actually the keys. They're like the seals. You know what I'm saying? So he has a direct channel. I think he's Moses. Look, this is just Tamara talking, but I think he's Moses incarnated because I just got that vibe. I just kept hearing Moses, but he's a rabbi and he's very knowledgeable, and he talks about the return of Christ and angels in the angelic world, the Elohim, and which I'm inclined to be interested in. And so I bought several of his books. He has courses he offers. I'll be showing a large part of what he has to offer, but I encourage you to check out, and I'll have his website and all that below where you can find out more. But his work is very at the top. So I would check that out. And then finally, I wanted to thank the people that put on this conference on this last slide. But before I do, and before we leave, remember next week, next Wednesday, it may not be at 5. I was trying to upload these videos for you. Now I figured it out. It may be a little bit earlier, but I will be doing a live thing. The second part of this, which is going to be, which is the vacay. Okay. And I get into showing things that I did and the hiking and some really cool stuff and experiences that I had there. So remember next Wednesday to check that out. If you subscribe, you'll get the alerts, especially if you click the bell. So finally, to wrap this up, I wanted to thank, let me go back to this final slide here. Oh, that's Brad Olson. One last slide. This is Brad Olson. Clay and him really connected. We bought a lot of his books on ancient sites, sacred places. He has a lot of conspiracy theory stuff. He just kind of puts them all in the books, but he was interesting. And then the Ascension panel, I did get clips of the different ones talking, and you can see Suzanne Ross at the very end, who put this together again, who did a great job. And you've got Dr. J.J. Hurtick, Maureen St. Germain, Vivian Chauvet, Matt Kahn, and Deborah Gusti, if I said that correct. So that was the last day. They had the Ascension panel. Really interesting questions were asked, and they responded. And then finally, this is Suzanne Ross. I just wanted to thank her and the people for having this event. I've done events. It's a lot of work. So it really is. And I want to also acknowledge Portal to Ascension. They're having a conference. It's April 21st through the 23rd. So it's not too late, especially if you're in the California area, that you can, or if you're close to that area, that you can just show up. But they're going to have a conference. This one is by them. They were the sponsors, Portal to Ascension, this time with Suzanne Ross. So they were, heavily involved, but this is their actual conference. So I encourage you, if you want to go there. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. I just got back from out west, so I can't go this time, but I know it's going to be great. And go to the ascensionconference.com. And in closing, sign up for my newsletter, the Academy of Divine Wisdom, because I am going to be having some cool courses as well. And you get a free Christ-like meditation if you do this too. Really cool courses, all different price ranges, different topics, as well as guest speakers on various starseed and spiritual topics and courses that you would be interested in. And so my thoughts there is I want to bring you top level people and the best, and I'm searching them out, and I also get channeled information. And so I like sharing my resources and my friends, because I know I'm good at what I do, but again, I don't do everything. Do you do everything? No. So we need to work together and to learn from each other and grow together. So look, thanks for watching. Much love to everybody, and have a super weekend. Thanks so much for supporting me, and consider being a member. It really helps. Okay. Every little bit, whether it's $2.99 or $24.99. All right. Take care. Bye, everyone.